Oh, hello, Penelope Smarts here. I know it's been a while since you've seen me, and actually it has been since about last year. So, without further ado, I would like to say that I am honored that I have my job back, and that we don't have to worry about not having the word of the day because we've had a great discussion. So, the word of the day today is oust. Oust means to actually suddenly get rid of or to expel without any further notice. So that means that you can actually just disappear like that. Hopefully when you use this word today, it's in a positive light and you do not have to oust anyone in any kind of unhealthy way. Anyway, that's none of my business. But we do hope that you find ways to use it and that it is something that you have learned today that you can carry with you for this week, because it is Black History Month, which is another thing that we will be getting on and which we will be letting you know the history fact of the day. I'm just so excited to just be spreading all this. Alright, without further ado, here is your host, who I'm pretty sure is more boring and just more mundane than I am. So hopefully she will do her job and make sure that we return. Have a great day. Welcome back to Robin's Fight today. I hope you enjoyed Penelope Smarts over there. What I really am happy about is the fact that we're back. We are able to continue our journey. We're striving. I know that I take long breaks sometimes, and that has to do with my creativity, my production, and being able to write. It's not that I love you guys. I just need that time to actually think. Make sure I don't have to scramble to do a vlog every day and write at the same time, if you know how that goes with a writer. So it's Black History Month. OMG, this is great. I love Black History Month. I think it is the best time to always put things out there to make ourselves aware of how great we are and to make sure we display that greatness because it is just undying. First things first, pretty much I have been working on two completely different books. So it's been crazy that I have to go back and forth in two different aspects, because one is like a thriller sci-fi type joint and the other one's self-help. And I love doing both, so it's like I just don't ever want to limit myself to what I write and what I do. I'm not just a poetry writer. I'm not just a prose poetry writer. I write blogs. I love writing about actual facts. I love writing about history. I love writing about people's lives and things that they're passionate about, including myself. So I just hope to really put things out there that meet your expectations and that I truly worked on and that I truly put thought into so that you're able to get some type of inspiration from it. That's all I ever want. It doesn't have to be a bestseller, but I just wanted to affect somebody, anybody. And speaking of which, I also wanted to go ahead and just get on what I've been trying to get the words together for about a week now, and that's the loss of a great African American that we had ourselves, Kobe Bryant, and including his beautiful, only 13-year-old daughter, Gianna. They died in a terrible helicopter accident, and everyone has been at a loss for words. I know I'm not the only one, and it's been crazy, just the stuff that's happened in the last several days that had to do with this one event. It's like, I never expected it to be this hard of an impact. It's almost it's harder of an impact than Michael Jackson or Whitney Houston or even Prince. And I love Prince. Prince is my fellow Gemini. And I was hurt. I cried when Prince died, but when Kobe Bryant and his daughter died, and it's like, it's not just that. It was how it happened. It just suddenly, that's all you see on the headlines, that he passed. And I thought it was a joke. I'm like, no, it's one of those rumors again, because they were mentioning that Rick Fox was on the helicopter with him. And then it was all four of his daughters. I'm just freaking out, like, what's going on? So finally, it was confirmed that it was him. and it was about several other people, 9 in total, and they were parents and people who played on his daughter's team. They were actually going to a game, and he likes to avoid LA traffic, which is normal for him in his life. You know, he has money, he does things like that, and it's not something that people would think, he's gonna be doomed from. But that day, the weather conditions were terrible. It was very foggy, and the video, new things just keep getting put out. There was video of the footage of the helicopter spinning. Someone was telling me that, when they pulled him out, he was still holding her. It's just, I didn't really want to hear the details of it or anything. The fact it happened was enough, but I hate, when people detail and harbor on the, little last moments, everything. And then what makes it worse is that other journalists are pretty much bringing up old stuff about him, his rape allegations, things he did back when he was like in his 20s. It's like, where does that come from? I wonder, like, when something like that happens, like, why do people dig that deep? If it's done, it's done. But this man passed, and I can't even imagine how his wife feels, right? Oh my gosh, like, I have been praying so hard for that woman. God's probably tired of hearing me because of the fact that how I would just feel if I can't even imagine. So I'm not trying to, but it's like, she lost a daughter and the love of her life in one day. Those are 2 loves of her life. And I just, I am entirely empathetic and sincerely offer my condolences to their family, and just hope that these journalists, paparazzi, and people that have nothing to do with the genuinity of reporting this and actually getting to the essence of his life and everything that he's done in the NBA, just silence themselves, or just don't bother with it. It's better to just not say anything to say than to be known to say something negative about somebody right after they pass. So that is what this clip is about, that I'm about to show y'all, and I really loved it because it's true. So just a moment, this was actually a segment. She was very upset, but I felt her passion, and I felt exactly what she said, and everybody else did. So take a look.
I'm looking at the journalist Felicia, and she is somebody who has gone through sexual assault herself. And she said that in the Washington Post. She released an article a couple of years ago detailing her experience. So as a journalist, which is not what we do, we are a talk show with opinion.
But you were a journalist,
and I was a journalist for 10 years prior to taking this job.
Said.
So as a journalist, it's our job to objectively report the news. I know that would be tough if you're someone who survived sexual assault. But when I'm looking at this story, she didn't give the story any context. And she got upset that she was being attacked on Twitter for tweeting a link that basically was condemning Kobe's character and accusing him of rape. But I think her job as a journalist was to put that in context. You have the responsibility, and you need to have the journalistic acumen to write the full story. Go to the Washington Post and say, this man is a nuanced character. This man has a detailed, layered history that we need to discuss. But don't just tweet that out and be the political reporter for the Washington Post and tweet that and leave it there, because you're leaving yourself open to the attacks that you're now receiving. And so whether or not she should be fired, I think that she should be put on leave like she was. I think it's inappropriate because we're in a time where we don't know what journalism is anymore. We have our president that attacks journalists. We have TMZ that broke the news to Vanessa Bryant that her husband passed away. What are we doing now that we need to look at ourselves, people who call themselves journalists? We have journalists attacking a 7-year-old child, which is Blue Ivy, and we look at them calling out her characteristics. We need to do better altogether as journalists. And I look at this woman and I say, it was your responsibility just to do better, and give it more time than 2 hours after the man passes away to say what you think about him if it's negative. And don't hide behind somebody else's article. I stand behind a journalist named Jillian Sheldon. She sat at that Kobe trial for 6 weeks. She followed it in Colorado, in and out, stayed there, interviewed all the lawyers, interviewed the woman who was accusing him. And she said, how can we use someone's worst day on this earth as a referendum on their character in total? in totality. And we can't, because just like Kobe, we all have flaws and we're all layered individuals. And we've seen this story time and time again, too many times when it's a black man and a white woman that's an accuser, when that's the story and it goes down and he just goes and gets convicted by the public jury. And we've seen the story too many times where women who have been sexually assaulted cannot give their voice to the public and are not given the space they need to share their story. So this is a complicated thing to talk about, but I really think that as a journalist, if you're going to take that name and that stance and that dignity of a position, you should probably do it properly and just try to tell the complicated story with as much care as possible. And that goes for everybody involved in this Kobe situation.
Wow. Well said. I know. I want to give you a round of applause, too. I hope everybody out there that's having this argument right now on Twitter, because I see it brewing and I see such vitriol, and I get it because of the beloved man that Kobe is, and I stand with you. But I hope that they can all we can clip what you just said and everybody hear it, because I think there's a responsibility that was lost, and you could not have said it in a more eloquent and passionate way.
And we just can all just have a little bit more empathy. I mean,
for the family,
for everybody involved. The 7 people or 9 people lost their lives. Just have a little bit more empathy, whether you're the outlet trying to be first or the outlets that were completely wrong, saying that his whole family was on the plane. Have some empathy for other people. You know, people lost their lives. And so we have to just step back and remember that, you know, this man was a legacy and a legend for so many people. He's also a complicated human, but we cannot just assassinate his character when he's dead and can't even defend himself. We just have to do better.
That was
amen.
Really...
I totally felt that. Because as a writer, like, when you're just not supposed to just put anything out there. If you're gonna do fiction, do fiction. If you do nonfiction, you do nonfiction. But that's just what it is. It's true and not true, and you have to have your facts together before you just go in on somebody and their situation, because it's gonna create backlash, like this one just did. But with that being said, I just wanted to get that out and really just say that I hope that things get better, the world gets better, because this energy that's surrounding us right now, it's uncomfortable, and it's something going on where I'm just always paranoid and on my P's and Q's right now, because I just feel like anything sudden can happen, and I've been fussing at people and getting on, like, you better tell me that you made it safe, you know, and it's out of love and it's out of care, but it's like that panicky feeling of, like, knowing that every second matters and every second counts, and what you said or what you did to someone in the last moments of seeing them, it's important. It matters. It doesn't matter how pissed you are, how mad you are at yourself or at something that they did. That is a thing that we just have to really stress on, and the fact that we just take everything for granted, and we try to say we don't, but then you'll, like, do or say, you know, really bad things, you know, that's the last thing you said before that person walked off, and it's like, you don't think that could not be taken away in just a second. So I just really want to put that out there and just say today that I hope that everybody loves one another, and that you check on your people and you're reaching out to them and just letting them know that you're still there if you need them, because it's important, and you don't know what's going on with people or when they need you or why. And that's always been big with me, because, you know, people will tell you that and say that they're there for you and that you can call them and they're there, but they can see big signs that you're kind of bothered by something, or that maybe something's not going right in your life, or maybe you just need that motivation, and they'll still pass you by and just try to mind their business and not really put themselves into it. And then when something happens, they feel bad. So don't be that person, that hindsight 20/20 person, or that person who's just like, dang, I saw this coming, but I didn't do anything about it or something. You know, I went deep, but just, you know, it's not about just deaths and suicide and any of that stuff. It's about just being positive and putting into the earth what you want to get out of it. You cannot get blessings by putting evil into the earth. Like Lauryn Hill said, how are you going to win when you are not right within? Your soul is a reflection. What you do and what you say towards people is a reflection of only you. I just wanted to harbor on what I've been up to. I wanted to motivate you today to just be the best that you can be, not let anyone get to you, not let anyone get to your mood, to your attitude, and to just keep continuing to strive and survive and make sure that you are doing your best every day. I've been going for so long. I'm gonna try. I'm dividing and conquering. I'm dividing everything. So let's go ahead and we're gonna get into the Black History fact of the day, and that is gonna be included in the next video. I don't want this video to be too long. My Black History videos are gonna be separate and in themselves, but this is just to say that I hope you continue to tune in. I hope that you're happy Penelope Smarts is back and that you continue to just want to know more, want to find more knowledge, and always learn something new daily, because if we're not learning anything new every day, then what are we doing? So everybody have a great evening. I hope that y'all have a great time doing whatever you're going to do tonight, but I please ask that you be safe. So bye.